I was inspired to run this workshop since I teach in 3 different universities in 3 different countries. I observe science students' strengths in powerful critical thinking, problem solving, but still they struggle with the communication, sharing their idea.
The biggest struggle that I see students facing when trying to communicate in science is that they don't have the confidence. They are nervous about speaking in front of other people, and they're nervous that they may not fully understand the principles they're trying to communicate.
Events like today, the Science Spectra, provide our students with a chance to learn communication skills from some of the best. That ability to communicate is one of the core skills that you need to have to be workforce ready. It is one of the most prized skills in business.
During the workshop, I think it was really interesting to hear different techniques of how to communicate information that can get across to a large variety of audiences. I never really thought about how different levels of communication may be needed, and so that was really interesting to listen to and think about how I could implement that into my daily activities.
The biggest thing I probably learnt from today was how the entire STEM community is actually much broader than you'd initially think when you look at it. The term STEM is often looked at more in a very specific kind of engineering and science fashion. We don't always look so much around the other areas.
My greatest tip for students to overcome their fears and to gain confidence is to practice. Get in the habit of meeting with groups, whether they're friends or not friends, and discussing what they're learning. Learning to articulate what you are trying to communicate and get feedback from those that you don't know.
Do think about how the audience should feel after hearing your work presented. That's maybe how you want to approach communication. And if anyone comes across challenges with it, I think it's where they fail to think about the so what of the discussion. It's not enough just to tell people about the work. You've actually got to start with, why was it important? How has this changed their lives in a however small a way?
I think what made the event really good was how interactive the workshops were. It's definitely more engaging than just sitting there listening to a lecturer go on and on about communication and why it's so important. But it showed the correct way to communicate with audiences, interact with them, engage them, keeps them involved and more willing to take in the information that you're trying to share with them.
It was a much more conversational style of event, which I thought was actually really good in terms of learning and being able to share ideas around the room and actively grow on various topics that were coming up at the time, rather than potentially leaving them to the end and then forgetting about them or being replaced by other things. So it really heightened the amount of content that we could learn overall.
We believe that people's knowledge is a very powerful source, and with the partnership with our talented students, science communicators who are aiming to make a change and make the build a better future, work together and come to the impactful end.